A Philosophy of Horror for Masks. If you don't know me, my name's Nicholas Crawford. I'm a philosopher who engages horror as philosophy, and my own work of literary apocalyptic fiction, Where We've Made It Dark, is out October 21st, and it is a zombie apocalypse. But here we're going to talk about the mask, and we have two main modes in horror where the mask is, operative. We have the mask of the thing that's trying to get us, in the slasher film, and then we have the mask that we put on. So the mask that we put on really comes out in two classic works. We have the Twilight Zone episode called The Masks, and we have the Goosebumps episode called The Haunted Mask. So in both cases, there's a moralizing going on that we need to avoid. In The Masks on Twilight Zone, we have a family that is eager to receive their inheritance from their father who's passing away. They're told to put on these masks, and these masks become their faces and reveal their ugly side, who they really are. So they get the inheritance, but now their faces are exposed to the world. That's the move we're trying to avoid here. The Goosebump episode is more interesting. We have a girl who's bullied. She sees this Halloween mask of a terrifying goblin. She puts it on. She actually steals it. And she becomes the character and starts terrorizing her bullies back, but it becomes too much. It becomes excessive, and she realizes the goblin that she's become is running away with who she is, her own life, and she has to, in a panic, find a way to get it off her face. What the mask really exposes is the truth of our own position. So the truth of the symbolic. So our truth is out there; it's not inside us. It's not the person who's standing in the place of the word. It's not the bearer that the truth lies. It's in the position itself. So with the Goosebumps girl, her truth is in the mask, literally, that starts to run away with her life, her personality. The interesting thing is she should lean into being a little terrorizing monster, and we know that ourselves because we want her to be. We enjoy seeing her be this terrorizing little monster. So even though there's things get too far, you don't want her just to be the monster permanently. We do. We do want that. That's what the pleasure of that episode is. An example of leaning into the mask fully is Breaking Bad. When Walter White, he's the timid professor. When he becomes Heisenberg, he puts on a mask with the hat in particular, and his visage changes. He has that stern classic face. So what Breaking Bad amounts to is learning the truth of your own position through not the timid Walter White, but the badass that you present to the world, even with its moral failings and twists on how we engage the world. So while the mask in general prompts a search for what's behind it, what prevents this and interrupts this process is the slasher mask. So Michael Myers, Ghostface from Scream, Jason. These are all masks that are avoiding out of your features. So we're just making the face a white blank surface. And the gaze is what sees us without us seeing it back. So all of these eye sockets are black blank spaces. We know we're being seen, and we can't pin down this act of seeing. And being seen in this way reduces us to this object status. It gets to our own inhumanity, the way in which we ourselves aren't what's behind the mask, but are on the surface as well. That's what's profound and philosophically useful in the slasher. We're getting to this, what's called a Freudian neighbor, the inhumanity within us all. So that's our point of universality, actually. It's not this what's behind the mask, it's the truth in the mask. It's the truth in our own position. And there's a violence inherent to that. That's why the infinite loops of unaliving from this mask is so important. We're getting to the cost of the mask. When we wear masks, when we take a subjective position, we're falling into fantasy, and there's a bodily cost to doing so. So for philosophy, the most famous use of the face is with Levinas. He's an ethical philosopher whose main point is the face puts the ethical call on us, and we are obligated to responding to it infinitely in a way that supersedes us. And the psychoanalytic point is the exact opposite. The mask is a fetish that presents this idea of there being some sort of depth to us. Deconstruction does the same thing. We're going to deep break things down to get to what's really there. And the mode of psychoanalysis includes this inhuman other. It includes the slasher villain. The truth of the mask being our own position, what's extimate to us and out there, not inside. So what's on the other side of the mask is nothing, is inconsequential. The real truth is in our position. So, or in our symptom, the way in which we engage the world in a fictive, twisted way. And when we embrace the mask, so think about Jim Carrey and the mask in particular, but also that Goosebumps episode, we fall into fantasy. We can get into this. So the mask can become a partial object, or a mode to getting into this mode of partial objects where we're engaging in a cartoon, infinite, unaliving mode of play. So there's a freedom in that. You could, and it's neutral. It's neutral. So it could be a good or bad thing, basically. But the point is there's truth to it. So there's a shirking back. I don't recall how the mask ends, but I assume it. But I'm pretty certain he just gets rid of the mask, right? And obviously the same with the Goosebumps story. So that need to step back from the mask is structural. You either fall into it to the point where you disintegrate, or you step back. Likewise with the slasher, you get unalived. The confrontation with the mask makes you disintegrate. The main point, the main core point, is to not fetishize what's behind the mask. So when we think of the face, we have to accept that there's a void to it. There's more truth in what we put out into the world than what we keep from it. So I'm most curious to know if you think there are differences in the mask between the different slashers. I think lately there's been a multiplicity of people wearing the mask instead of one mega villain. We have like Squid Games, or like Home Invasion, where multiple people are wearing masks, and it can be kind of a cheap move to just make things a little scary. But I think each time you're really engaging the same thing. But I'm not an expert in slashers, so let me know if there's a slasher that really stands out for you.